And welcome to Wake Up Charlotte to Go on a Wednesday morning. Sarah's trying to learn song lyrics to pop songs.
Well, I was singing a song, and then Brittany said, "Doesn't it go like this?" And I was like, "Oh, is that how the lyrics go?" I sing songs all the time.
Like, you just make up lyrics?
Like,
I love it.
Don't go chasing waterfalls. For the longest time, I thought it was go Jason Waterfalls.
Jason is a good
That was his name.
man.
Like, go.
Yeah, Jason Voorhees is going to go chase those waterfalls Friday the 13th, baby.
Jason Waterfalls.
This is not our topic today.
It's not. It's really not. Instead, we're talking about 4-day work weeks.
Maybe I need one.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe you've seen a new study out. It's been all over the news for the last day or two, saying that evidently they actually, of course, they're popular with the workers.
Of course.
But more shockingly, evidently the companies did pretty well too, and the ones in the study are going to stick with.
They're going to stick with it.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, it was about 61 companies that participated, almost 3,000 workers. And, you know, the obvious benefits that workers had reported, you know, they had better sleep, they had a better work-life balance, had a better social life. But 92% of the companies that participated, they actually ended up adopting the 4-day work week as well.
I love it. I wonder if, you know, people are so burnt out, you know, that if you give them that extra day, like you said, they get some more rest, then they are more motivated, they are more creative, they are more like focused on those days that they're actually there. Because I feel like studies have been done that people do waste a lot of time sometimes in the office.
Especially with working from home. I mean, sometimes it's hard to kind of draw the boundary of, you know, starting and stopping your work responsibilities. Another thing, when we posted this poll on Twitter, a lot of comments just talking about like the little intricacies, one of them which this was the same amount of work. It was just one day off. So
and same amount of pay, right?
Same amount of pay.
Yes, and same amount of pay. So there was a concern for hourly employees too, saying, well, I mean, if you're missing out on a full 8-hour day, so you would have to adjust the pay, but it would be the same amount of work. So really, that's why I think more companies are saying like, okay, well, let's go ahead and adopt this because more people are being efficient with their time.
Larry Sprinkle would still come in on that extra.
He would.
I guess it's by habit. When I first started out in broadcasting, it was radio.
Yeah.
And in radio at that time, you worked 6 days a week. Yeah. That was the standard.
Goodness.
You worked 6 days a week. It was less hours on Saturday, but you still had to work.
And Larry doesn't take days off because back in the day, if you took a day off, then that replacement was just, oh, we like this person.
Not back in the day.
Way back in the day, yeah.
My favorite part of filling in for Larry, or when Chris is filling in, I'm doing filling in for Chris. He's gone one day, and the viewers will email
because everybody loves Larry Sprinkle.
He's the hardest working guy.
He is. Nobody works harder than Larry Sprinkle.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
A lot of folks, though, seeming to enjoy the idea of a 4-day work week. Melissa saying would be great. Lib saying definitely. Joy says sounds good to me. Lisa, love it. So I think Larry is in the minority.
Yes,
always. Yes,
of course, we're getting comments from the Zip Whip as well. People saying, relax, catch up on home life, go to a nice lunch. I guess the question we asked was, what would you do with that extra day off? Some of these, I'm going to need my glasses. Being a teacher, I think it would help with burnout and might be a selling point to get and keep teachers. That's interesting with all the stories we've done now on teacher shortages.
That means school's only 4 days a week?
Oh, I bet the students.
Oh, yeah. This is getting into the nitty gritty now. Yeah. How do you do that?
Because then parents have to find adjustments. You know, if maybe they work different days. Because I would guess that it's not just everybody would be Monday through Thursday. I mean, some bosses maybe would meet people on Fridays.
Of course, nurses.
Friday.
Is it 10 hours a day, 4 days a week? Is that right?
Yeah, that was my understanding, right?
No. So it'll be the same amount of work, just shortened hours. So instead of 4 10s to like keep up with the 40-hour work week, you do. Oh, I'm struggling with like simple math. -8, 32-hour work week.
Oh, wow. So it's not.
So you keep the 8-hour day.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So you keep the 8-hour day. So you're just taking off.
You're just actually you're getting that day off.
Exactly.
Larry.
Okay.
Larry's like,
no 10-hour days. You just get the day off.
Well, would you get the management's call?
What if you already worked 10-hour days?
I feel like that's the thing too. There's a lot of people who already work
10-hour days, 10 plus. Yeah.
I think in general what we're seeing is folks just want a better work-life balance.
Yes.
And you're seeing that in the stories we do all the time about quiet quitting. You see it in the stories we do about working from home and people wanting to work from home and wanting the flexibility. You see it in this, people wanting to afford it. They just want a better balance. For the better part of the last several decades, I think people have said that it's just gotten out of control, especially not only with sort of the work ethic of baby boomers, but also in the last 20 years, the constant availability of checking your email and stuff at home, that there's not a work-life balance anymore. And I think people are wanting to reclaim that.
Because, I mean, Larry, you know, and growing up, like with my parents, if like you went out to dinner, they couldn't get a hold of you, you know? If once you left the office, it was like, bye-bye, you know? And now, like you said, Ben, it is constant communication. And then it's like, if you don't text back because someone's wearing an Apple Watch or whatever, it's like, why didn't they text back? It's like the live to work, don't work to live mindset
but you can't
switching.
Escape it. You're right.
Yeah.
You can't escape work. We're just like attached to it.
For sure. And I wonder, like, is the pandemic what has caused more of this switch, or people talking about it more because people, it really seems they shifted their priorities since the pandemic.
I think the pandemic exacerbated an already existent issue. Like, I don't think that COVID, you know, this just brought on this new problem. I think we were kind of inching toward this for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when people started working from home, it was that much harder to make a difference between, okay, the difference between 6 and 6:01, I'm still at my couch. So people still expect to have that kind of access to you. You can't leave work at work anymore.
Yeah. And I think, too, people, like for me anyway, like my kids were home, schools were closed. But I realized how much time I was having with them. And then when they went back to school, and this is when I was working nights, you know, I was like, oh, I'm not seeing my kids at all anymore. So I think people started reassessing, like, I do want to have more, I do want to be more present for my family. I do want to be there with my kids or my spouse or whatever it may be.
But you realize what you're missing out on.
For sure, most definitely.
And the fact that a lot of people, I mean, thank goodness on our shift we don't have traffic to deal with, but a lot of people lose valuable hours of their life. Sitting in traffic on I-77 or 85. And to your point, after the pandemic, they're like, I don't want to give that up again. Like, no, I enjoy those 2 hours with the kids or with my husband or with my wife or doing whatever.
And I think Chris Mulcahy even said when he came in, he realized how much money he was also spending on commuting, like paying gas to travel to do that. So
Charles is one of the lucky ones. He says he's currently working a 4-day week now, and it's awesome.
Charles, what do you do? We want to know.
I think too, like, you think about working from home, you could essentially, maybe you shouldn't do this, you could essentially roll out of bed and be at work. Versus the time it takes to get ready.
For sure.
Get your kids ready for school, and then, you know, brush your teeth and shower and get dressed and do your hair, whatever. People can just roll.
Who cares about appearance?
Keep that Zoom image off.
I was about to say, I think my favorite image of this whole pandemic thing, the working from home aspect, is the picture of people dressed at the top.
Sweatpants, pajama pants on the bottom, for sure.
Well, the amazing thing is so many people didn't go back to work.
Right.
I'd like to know where those people, what are you doing, how are you getting money, because there are literally job openings everywhere. Every time you drive down the road, there's a sign that says, you know, workers needed. And what are these people doing? So obviously these people, they're having a 0 work week.
And I have friends and neighbors too who worked from home, and I know you said Brad was like this too. Like they said, okay, January 2023, we want you guys back in the office. Maybe you can work from home on Friday, but that's it. And I do think, Larry, a lot of people said, this isn't going to work for me. Or I know my neighbors are struggling now figuring out childcare and after-school program, because elementary kids, they get out of school at 2 p.m., you know, so it's a juggling act for sure.
Oh, a huge juggling act. And I think businesses, I mean, if more people are going to adopt this, everyone's just going to have to figure out what works for them. And hopefully everyone involved has a solid work ethic. And that includes the businesses themselves. You know, let's let folks establish the much needed boundaries.
I think the key is that if the businesses can still perform well and still make money and still you know, increase productivity, then it makes it a lot easier to make that switch over. All right, folks, continue to weigh in. Let us know, what do you think? What do you think about a 4-day work week? Or how about a 3-day work week?
How about 2 days?
Right?
How about we don't even work at all?
A 3-day weekend is what we need to work on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be great. That'd be great. All right, folks, we'll see you back here
Please.
tomorrow for another edition of Wake Up Charlotte.